You're listening to Better Outside, a Texas Parks and Wildlife production. This season was brought to you by Whole Earth Provision Company. I'm your host, Morgan O'Hanlon.
And I'm David Yoskowitz, Executive Director of Texas Parks and Wildlife Department.
Today, we're taking you to Elephant Mountain Wildlife Management Area in West Texas, just outside Big Bend State Park. Meet you there just after this break. Whole Earth Provision Company has been helping Texans roam wild and free since 1970. Whether you're road tripping through the hill country, catching a sunrise at Enchanted Rock, or planning a summer park hop, they've got what you need to do it right. Think sun protective shirts, trail-tested sandals, packable hats, and water bottles that actually keep your drinks cold. Traveling light, they've got carry-ons, duffels, and gear bags from the names you trust. And if you forgot your shades or backup charger, well, they've got those too. Visit one of their 6 Texas stores or shop 24/7 at wholeearthprovision.com.
Back in December, TPWD helped relocate 77 bighorn sheep from Elephant Mountain Wildlife Management Area to the Franklin Mountains State Park in El Paso. This operation was the culmination of years' worth of effort from hundreds of dedicated individuals and dozens of organizations.
We're going to give you the inside scoop, from the history to the action and all the suspense in between. So hang tight, because we're about to take you outside. If you were to try and pick an animal most symbolic of the American West, you might think of the bison, the grizzly bear, or perhaps it would be the bighorn sheep. This mighty animal has been revered as a symbol of strength and vigor for thousands of years, making it the subject of myth and lore for both Native Americans and wildlife frontiersmen. For me, personally, I recognize the animal from the label on a bottle of Shiner Bock. Turns out that Bock, a Bavarian style of dark beer, also means ram in German. Last year, I was surprised when I learned that bighorn sheep aren't confined to the Rocky Mountains and are actually native to Texas. 200 years ago, you could point at random to any mountain on the West Texas horizon and know that bighorns were bouncing across its rocky face. At their peak population, desert bighorn sheep, the subspecies that lives in Texas, numbered upwards of 1,500 in the Lone Star State. But in the 1800s, as the railroad blazed its way across the desert, so spread unregulated hunting and domesticated sheep that carried diseases. In 1903, the Texas legislature banned the hunting of bighorns to curb their rapid decline. But populations continued to plummet. And in 1958, the state's last known native desert bighorn was spotted at the Sierra Diablo Wildlife Management Area, north of Van Horn. Even though bighorns are still found in abundance throughout the western states, they've struggled to regain a foothold in Texas. Thanks to repopulation efforts over the last 50 years, the current tally of desert bighorns in Texas is about 700. But it's been a constant struggle to maintain, let alone grow, that population because of disease events over the years. And that about brings us to where we are today. Did I about sum that up, David?
I think so.
So then, tell me, what's the latest development in the effort to repopulate Texas with bighorns?
Since the first bighorns were brought to Elephant Mountain in February of 1987, it served as a source of disease-free sheep that we can use to repopulate many of the mountain ranges in West Texas. With this latest capture, we had 2 goals: bringing Elephant Mountain population back down to a sustainable level, a healthy level, and then planting a new clean herd at the 26,000-acre state park in El Paso. In early December, the department, TPWD, was among numerous organizations that gathered at Elephant Mountain Wildlife Management Area to put that plan into action.
And how do you accomplish bringing bighorn sheep off the mountain?
It is a team effort. There are captured companies that take their helicopters up and shoot the net guns and capture the animals. There are wranglers that pull the animals down, they hook them back up to the helicopter, and they bring them into the headquarters area. And then there's a whole team that grabs the sheep at that point. And for us, it was putting them on the tables and making sure we got great data for our science that we do on bighorn sheep, making sure they were healthy and clean.
And you know, David, I saw you there at Elephant Mountain at the capture. You were wearing a cowboy hat and a leather jacket. It looked good. It was a nice little get-up. What did you get up to while we were out there?
Well, it was exciting for me because, when I joined the department, one of the things that I wanted to make an impact on was bighorn sheep. Within the first month of my time here at the department, I visited Elephant Mountain Wildlife Management Area, and I wanted to make this a signature project. And so for me to be there at the capture, helping to work those sheep and get them to El Paso eventually, it was a great opportunity. I did everything that I was told to do, and then I volunteered for some things that I wasn't told to do. But I will tell you, it was a bit of an emotional moment when that first group of bighorn sheep came in off the mountain. I think for a lot of people, not just myself, because finally we were doing something that we had planned for so many years.
Take us back to the morning of the capture. What was that like? Can you give me the 5 senses breakdown?
It was dark, first thing. It was cold. It was windy. There was nervousness and excitement in the air. Everybody was trying to find their place. I mean, we knew what we were going to be doing, but we really hadn't done a capture like this big in quite a while. Once that first group of bighorn sheep came in, and they were healthy, and the team was just working seamlessly, we had, over 50 volunteers there, including department staff. It was probably one of the best experiences I've had in my professional career.
So, like you, David, I was also at Elephant Mountain for the sheep capture.
I saw you.
It was pretty fun. It was cold. The night before the capture, me and about 20 of our coworkers from the communications team, we were all crammed into the bunkhouse. Have you been there before?
I have. Yes.
It was actually pretty comfortable. We were all packed in there summer camp style so that we'd be ready to get up early the next morning. And when we woke up at the crack of dawn, we headed out into that bitter winter morning. It was freezing. The mood was pretty tense, but everybody was buzzing with excitement as the large group of volunteers prepared themselves for this high-stakes operation. After we got settled at the capture site, I went and found Elephant Mountain's resident wildlife biologist, Cody McEntire, to give me an idea of what to expect.
We've got a pretty stiff wind out of the north right now, so as long as they can stay in sheep down low or get back around on the windward side, they ought to be able to keep operations going. I'd say that we're probably going to see 2 to 4 animals the entire day with each sling. Generally, you shoot one at a time out of the helicopter, and you're only carrying 2 guys, a gunner and a mugger.
The so-called gunner wields a net gun that hurls wide, weighted nets through the air to haul agile sheep. Then, the pilot will maneuver the helicopter low to the ground to make the mugger's job easier. This person will jump out of the aircraft to grapple with the animal and secure it in a harness and blindfold. As the group of staff and volunteers gets its bearings, the helicopter prepares to take flight.
All right, everybody clear back there?
I guess.
Everybody clear?
Yeah, we're clear.
We're good to go.
Okay.
The capture crew takes on the first challenge of the day, bringing sheep down from the mountainside and back to operation headquarters to be processed. Fredericksburg-based Tango 82 Aviation specializes in wildlife captures and is up to the job.
Yeah, we got the audio recorder back there too, so keep it PG. All right, gentlemen.
Think we're good to back.
Got everything we need?
Clear.
All right. Let's go do it.
Let's go do the thing.
The pilot steers the helicopter toward the south end of the mountain, where sheep flock to the steep and rocky slopes.
Hey, I just never gets old flying out here. There's a majestic red tail hawk.
But as they sweep over the landscape, they see something they don't like.
Look at that deadhead. Oh, man? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
If you didn't catch that, the crew's saying that they see an aoudad nearby. Aoudad are an invasive species of sheep from North Africa, and their presence in West Texas is one of the primary reasons why conservationists are relocating the bighorns. That's because aoudad carry Mycoplasma over pneumoniae, MOV for short, a bacteria that causes deadly pneumonia in bighorns. 9 of the current 10 desert bighorn populations in Texas carry the bacteria. Elephant Mountain is the exception as the state's only clean herd. Although biologists have managed to keep aoudad and the bacteria off Elephant Mountain for now, it's a matter of when, not if, the sheep here start to test positive.
They were somewhere over there to your left.
The stakes are high, and this is a very serious job. The crew is trying to get in the zone, so one of the members, Monty, asks for an aux cord to crank some tunes.
They got an aux cord in it?
What's that?
Does this thing have an aux cord in it? Or play a little rock and roll? No. It's fired up. You got enough rocks rolling in your head, Monty. Oh, my God.
As the helicopter climbs into the air, they scan the mountain for bighorns to pursue.
All right, the blueprint went to our left. Got some right here.
There you go. They got some good sheep down here.
Yeah, they do. See that jump? Far right looks like a little ram, it did.
Possibly. Pretty wide.
Yeah, let's
Yeah, it is.
get him.
With their first target in sight, the gunner takes aim and fires.
Good shot.
Thank you, sir.
After the gunner meets his mark, the pilot searches for a safe spot to get closer to the ground.
Want to drop me? Yeah, if I can get you in there. You can drop me up high, I can come down on it. All right, give me a second, I'll get back around there.
The pilot is hovering low above cactus and rocks.
All right, Marty, get out. Okay. He's out. He's good.
All good in the hood.
Now, Monty's job as the mugger begins. Even though the sheep is caught in a net, he's still in for a tough fight. Most bighorns weigh between 160 and 250 pounds, with the biggest rams tipping the scales at 350.
He's running with it, but it'll catch him.
Oh, he might get him.
Good hold.
Oh, he got him a bag and everything. Good boy. There you go. Grab that rope, Monty. Grab the rope, Monty, and pull him towards you. Don't grab the sheep, grab the net. Yep, we got him. Hang on.
With the sheep secured to the helicopter, they take off. It dangles below the aircraft like a pendant from a rearview mirror.
How you doing? I'm ready when you are. All right, headed your way. How was he? All right.
Back on the ground, the vets and a large group of volunteers anxiously await the arrival of the first sheep.
Yes, I'm cold. To make the wind stop.
That's Dr. Sara Wyckoff. She's one of 4 veterinarians here to process the sheep.
But at least it helps with the temperatures of the animals.
During the capture, sheep are prone to overheating. And if sheep's temperature climbs too high for too long, it can cause permanent damage or even death.
The helicopter crews know when to stop chasing an animal, and when an animal's getting there, they pull back from a lot of animals when they know they've been chasing them too much.
After the sheep reach the ground, the primary job of the vets and volunteers is to cool them down. Then it's a rush to collect samples and to tag and collar the animals as quickly as possible to minimize stress.
Should get some here, 3 or 4. They just came over the ridge. All right, everybody feeling good? Yep. Cool. Is everybody here? Okay. All right, did you hear this one's coming in hot already?
Oh.
So we'll work fast on this one.
As I watch the sheep come in, I'm just amazed how gently the helicopter crew lowers that first sheep to the ground. There's 4 men decked out in cowboy hats and Western apparel waiting to carry it to the processing tables. I think someone might have told them that there would be cameras here today.
What's our temperature, please?
The volunteers spray the sheep with water and apply ice to cool it down.
Okay, can we get water? Yeah, spray it down. Spray it in here. Yeah.
The vet administers a dose of midazolam, a sedative to calm the sheep and reduce the stress of the capture.
The midazolam is in, and I'm about to get Banamine as well.
Hit 105.
So let's move fast. Okay, Banamine is going in. What's the temperature?
If the spray isn't enough, the vets administer Banamine, an anti-inflammatory, to reduce fever. If its temperature reaches 105, it gets an enema, too.
Can we get the water bottle for the enema, please?
Meanwhile, volunteers work fast to collect samples, tag the animal, and put on a tracking collar.
Nasal swabs are done?
Yes.
Okay, tonsil swabs. Okay, you can go ahead and start tagging. Whoever's collar, can we get the collar on, please?
Ready? Yeah.
Is it blindfold? Oh,
Now that Sara's team has finished its work, it's time for the cowboys. They pick up the sheep and carry it to the nearby trailers, where it'll wait until all the sheep are ready for transport.
How did you guys feel about that first chaos?
Just get these
On that
things
ear
ready a
snip?
little bit sooner.
Yeah, okay.
On that ear snip, it's
Good? Okay. Cool. Good job, everybody.
Now that first sheep is processed, it's time to wait for the next delivery. The vets and volunteers make small talk.
And I was like, sir, you do realize I got so much new blood on my jacket.
I know, I have somehow got poop in my fanny pack already. Gross.
I'm fidgeting with my recorder when I hear the chopper return. I'm surprised they're back after only half an hour.
3 U's, so everybody will be getting a scan. Okay. Where's my ultrasound? Thank you.
When the vets get a female bighorn, also called an ewe, they use an ultrasound to check for pregnancy.
The first one?
Yeah. At least that one. I don't know if the other one's a ewe yet. Is this a ram or a ewe?
you.
You 2 ewes? Okay. She's pregnant. So press freeze. Save.
Wyckoff takes a screenshot on the ultrasound monitor, which looks like a super rugged computer, the kind a war reporter might use way out in the desert.
Okay. And then press back. Yeah. That looks like a little spine right there. Okay, cool. So now we'll go to the other one. Excuse me. And then we just want to clean the probe in between animals and change gloves. Okay. So now, patient. What is this patient's number? 020. I just need gloves. Okay, pregnant. Freeze. Save.
To check for pregnancy, Wyckoff looks for one of 2 things. The first is the presence of something called cotyledons.
Basically, you look for C's and donuts. And they are give nutrition to the baby. So once I see those, I know she's pregnant.
The other thing she looks for is, of course, a fetus, but sometimes they can be pretty hard to see.
It's hard to tell here, but yeah, that's the spine, and that's some of the rib cages right there. So if you look on the screen, so that's its head. Do you see its little face? Yeah. And it's pretty far along. It's the biggest one we've seen so far. It's kicking, saying, "Stop poking me, please. I would like to go to my new home." There's the bones, the spine, the heart.
In this first batch of ewes, all of the sheep are pregnant, and Wyckoff expects pretty much every ewe older than a year to be pregnant, which bodes well for the future of the herd.
This is telling us what to expect as far as lamb recruitment once we have the release and spring comes along. But then it also acts as a disease surveillance method because lamb crops, they can have really high mortality rates when it comes to MOV. So if we see these numbers on here and compare them to what's going on in the spring, that might be a sign for us to say, hey, there could be a disease issue going on. We're not seeing as many as we saw on ultrasound. This capture, it's early enough in their pregnancy where this capture is relatively safe in the way of the baby shouldn't be affected or the fetus shouldn't be affected. Timing is also really important when it comes to these captures when these ewes are pregnant. So everything's looking great right now, which is awesome.
In spite of the high-stakes job she's doing, Wyckoff is feeling pretty good as the day goes on. On a break between sheep deliveries, she starts daydreaming about what it'll be like once the sheep are in their new home.
It'll be so fun seeing little babies in a few months. Oh my gosh. Bouncing around, yes. That would be great to have little pictures of them all getting the zoomies. They're so precious. They're so bug-eyed.
It's been a long road to get to the point where she can imagine this future.
I've been prepping for this for the last 2 years, essentially, with planning, doing our disease surveillance, where we were looking at all of these mountain ranges to see which ones were appropriate to release. That started in 2022. Meetings, just getting everybody together. So it's been a long process, and I'm so happy we're here and we're finally doing it.
When Wyckoff said this, it reminded me of the bigger picture. Why are we doing this? Why spend all of this time, tremendous effort, and money just to move some sheep around? I went and found Froylán Hernández, TPWD's Bighorn Sheep program lead, to ask for some answers.
It's important that we continue our restoration efforts because it was because of us that desert bighorns are no longer here. And so I think it's collectively our responsibility to make sure that we get the habitat as close to as it once was as we can.
In the late 1950s, the agency that later became TPWD introduced what is now the bighorn's primary threat: the Texas Game and Fish Commission released 42 aoudad into Palo Duro Canyon to study their viability in the Lone Star State. Their intention was to provide more hunting opportunities for private ranchers. But over the following 10 years, the aoudad population grew to 600 and quickly spread beyond the confines of the park and onto private land, where they became harder to track. Now, they've become a disease vector for MOV.
It's also important for us to give back to the people of Texas. Taking the Bighorn to the Franklins gives the people of Texas an opportunity to see a species that is not commonly seen. You see whitetails all over, and you might see mule deer in lots of places, and you might see pronghorn in less numbers, but there's still opportunities to see pronghorn. To see bighorn, they're very limited opportunities. And so we're trying to do that to give to the public another viewing opportunity.
When we come back from the break, I'll take you to the Franklin Mountains on the day of the release, where you'll hear the sounds of El Pasoans as they see their native bighorns finally return home. From Big Bend to Barcelona, Whole Earth Provision Company outfits free spirits and side-questers alike in superb quality goods. Find them in-store or online at wholeearthprovision.com.
Nearby lakes have invasive species like giant salvinia and zebra mussels, which can hurt native ecosystems. Even when microscopic, they can spread by hitching a ride on your boat. So clean, drain, and dry before traveling from lake to lake. Visit tpwd.texas.gov/stopinvasives.
We're back on the first day of the capture, and about 40 sheep have been pulled down off the mountain, which means the crew has collected enough samples to send to Waddle, the Washington Animal Disease Diagnostic Lab, in Pullman, Washington. There, they'll test the samples for MOV.
So the next step right now is get these samples taken to the Waddle samples, take them to the Alpine Airport, and then fly them to the Washington lab. We'll continue to capture. It's just these samples we need to get up there so that we can get results back earlier.
It'll take about 24 hours for the results to come in. At that point, the sheep will already be on the road to El Paso so they can make it in time for the public release event. But if any of the samples come back positive, the trucks will all turn around and head straight back to Elephant Mountain.
Luckily, we feel pretty confident. We've had callers on the landscape for over a year, no disease mortalities, high recruitment. This is just a precautionary measure to make sure that what we release on the Franklins are all clean animals.
I jumped in a car with Austin Bohannon, a TPWD biologist, to drive the samples to the airport. Is that the box?
This is the box.
So now all we have to do is not get in a car crash, right?
Yes. Don't jinx me.
We start up his truck and make the 45-minute drive to the Alpine Municipal Airport. I knew the samples would be flown by plane, but I still wasn't expecting the private jet that was waiting for us by the runway.
Fresh candle in here, huh? $1,000 Are you sure they're all in here? All right. Very good.
Are you taking off right now?
Yeah, we're ready to turn and burn.
With the samples sent off to Waddle and more than half the sheep quota already met, I head back to the bunkhouse to get some rest. The next day, the capture continues until about 2 p.m. We still don't have the results back from the lab, but we should head to El Paso soon. Otherwise, we won't make it in time for the public bighorn release event. I go ask Froylán for an update. How many sheep did they get, and are they stopping?
Ooh, we'll get a total here pretty quick. Right now, I think the standing count is 78.
It was 77, actually. But with all the sheep processed and loaded into trailers, it was time to hit the road. But if we got news that any of the sheep are positive for MOV, we'll have to call off the release, turn around, and head back. In all, 6 trailers would make the 3-hour drive to the Franklin Mountains. I jump in trailer number 5 with TPWD biologists Josh Cross and Julie Myers.
You got room, Morgan?
Yeah, I got plenty. So Froylán's gonna call y'all with the results at 3?
Yes, I think that's the plan.
Or when he gets them.
He'll let us know, and we're crossing our fingers. It's good news. Let's take all these sheep out.
And that we don't have to drive right back here. About halfway to El Paso, I hear Froylán's voice over the radio.
We're on it. Finish the budget.
Good news.
Good news, very good news.
It's another hour and a half until we get to El Paso. As we approach the city, buildings along the I-10 corridor grow closer and closer together. We hit some traffic. As we're waiting, I see the mountains in the distance.
These are really pretty mountains.
Prettier than the Sierra Diablos.
I don't know about that.
As we drive up to the park, I start to see the reason why it was chosen for relocation. The 26,000-acre property ranks among the largest urban parks in the country. For decades, it was disregarded as a potential site for bighorn reintroduction because it's surrounded by highways and houses on 3 sides. But what conservationists once saw as a flaw became the property's biggest asset as they saw a secure and aoudad-free home for bighorns. The Franklin Mountains provide a virtual quarantine zone against MOV. Minutes later, we pass the park entrance.
Trailer 1 and 2 have arrived at the park. Trailer 3 and 4 have arrived at the park.
Are you excited?
Yes.
This is everything you've ever hoped and dreamed of?
Excited to kick him out of the trailer and watch him go.
As we drive up to the release site, the parking lot is packed and there's a line of cars waiting to get in.
It is cool that this many people came. I kind of want to go up there. Don't miss it too much.
I'll try my best. I'm used to crying all over my truck.
Julie and I walk up to the spot where TPWD staff is backing in the first trailer.
Wait, trying to move a trailer.
The metal creaks and groans as staff adjust the partitions inside the trailer. Another person tries to calm the sheep with pss, pss, pss noises, like it was a cat. Finally, the men lift the gates and a dozen sheep bounce into the desert, leaping over yucca, candelilla, and cacti before disappearing behind the closest peak. This continues until there's only one trailer left. I head into the crowd to hear how people react.
All rams, all the big boys.
The team opens the gates for the last time, and the sheep run off into the mountains.
Thank you, TPWD. Wow.
For the Bighorns, the release is the last stop on an epic journey they've endured over the last 36 hours.
It's a great feeling. The capture operation, the transplant, the release, that's done. So we get to breathe, but the job is not done. In fact, now the job begins because now we have to ensure that the bighorns stay here, that they thrive here, and we're able to continue the restoration. So this is just one piece of the very big puzzle.
David, what was it like to be up close and personal handling the sheep yourself? Was there anything about them that surprised you?
What surprised me was how calm they were. You had to be careful with them. Obviously, they're in a delicate state. They've been captured. They've been taken off where the place that's been their home for quite a while. But their eyes were covered, and once their eyes were covered, they became very docile. But we had lots of hands on them, and it was incredible to see how people were working together to get them worked up medically very quickly and then get them into the trailers.
What was your job that day? What were you doing at the capture site?
Well, I was doing everything from bringing the sheep in from the landing zone to the tables to get worked up. I was, picking up trash on the on the site to make sure stuff wasn't blown around when the helicopters came in. I was helping take bigger sheep back up to Elephant Mountain that we didn't want to have go to Franklin Mountains.
So a few weeks ago, I was telling somebody about the Bighorn relocation, and they thought it was really cool. But after I got done explaining the helicopters and the planes and the trucks and so on, they asked me why. Why spend all this manpower and time and substantial budget to put some sheep on a mountain? So can you put this into perspective for us? Why is it so important for the agency, and why should this matter to somebody who's not so outdoorsy or just lives in a city and is trying to make it through the week?
Well, I think we're always looking for a sense of place. And for Texas, that sense of place runs from the piney woods in far east Texas to the Trans-Pecos and mountains of West Texas. And so we want things on the landscape that remind us of those places. And so for me, And for many Texans, bighorn sheep not being on the landscape where they once were and now are back would be a terrible thing.
And I know there's been tons of positive reception as well. So what other kinds of reactions have you heard since the release?
Oh, it's been huge. I mean, at the release itself, there were several hundred El Pasoans there to celebrate the release of these sheep, to welcome them back home, because the sheep were at Franklin Mountain State Park before they were extirpated. They've adopted these sheep. They've called them their own. They are actively encouraging people to visit El Paso to see these bighorn sheep. And I'm just so happy that they've done that, because now they have ownership in it and they want to see those bighorn sheep be successful. And that's an important thing.
So it's been a few months now since we put those sheep back on the mountains. What's happened since then? Can you give us an update?
Well, some very good things have happened. An overwhelming majority of the ewes or females that were pregnant have given birth, and we have, as of now, about 17 lambs on the mountain, which is a great thing. That's what we're expecting. That's what we want. El Pasoans are happy to see those lambs on the mountain. And unfortunately, we've lost a few sheep. That's not unexpected, but we're glad that it was only a few. But everything is pointing in the right direction, and we're happy that we put this huge effort into moving those sheep.
So what's the next big step in the story of the bighorns?
So our ultimate goal is to bring sheep back to all 17 mountains that historically had them. And if we do that, if we accomplish that, that'll be about 2,500 sheep. But it's going to take 15 to 20 years to be able to accomplish that. But we're driven to do that. And then with our partnerships with private landowners, with non-governmental organizations, with stakeholders around the country and in Texas, we can accomplish that.
Well, after all the work we've done so far, I'm sure the sheep have a bright future ahead of them. But for now, I'm just happy they're back in the Franklin Mountains.
That was pretty bad.
Whole Earth Provision Company has been helping Texans roam wild and free since 1970. Whether you're road tripping through the hill country, catching a sunrise at Enchanted Rock, or planning a summer park hop, they've got what you need to do it right. Think sun protective shirts, trail-tested sandals, packable hats, and water bottles that actually keep your drinks cold. Traveling light, they've got carry-ons, duffels, and gear bags from the names you trust. And if you forgot your shades or backup charger, well, they've got those too. Visit one of their 6 Texas stores or shop 24/7 at wholeearthprovision.com. For 25 years, Texans have been contributing to conservation when they buy TPWD's conservation license plates for their vehicles, trailers, or motorcycles. You can choose from 11 eye-catching plates featuring colorful images of plants, animals, and scenery, including the horned lizard, monarch butterfly, and our newest plate, the greater roadrunner, and many more. And for $30 a year, you too can ride with the wild. TPWD gets back $22 of that annual purchase for wildlife, land, water, and habitat conservation. Visit conservationplate.org to see them all, make your selection, and help drive conservation forward. Better Outside, a Texas Parks and Wildlife production, is brought to you by Whole Earth Provision Company. This episode was written and recorded by me, Morgan O'Hanlon. Story edited by Wes Ferguson and Aislinn Gaddis for Free Range Productions. Sound design and audio engineering by Austin Sisler at Eastside Studios in Austin, Texas. Our theme song was written and recorded by Walker Lukens and Grant Epley. Artwork for the show is by Aaron Zachary. A version of this story appeared in the March 2025 edition of Texas Parks and Wildlife magazine. And if you like this story, you can find more work by me and other outdoors writers at tpwmagazine.com. For show notes, photos, and more stories from Better Outside, head to betteroutside.com. And, of course, you can find Better Outside wherever you get your podcasts. That's all for this episode. See y'all next time, and thanks for joining us outside.